What's going on, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful week. Also, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great one. Let's make 2022 a great one. It's mad that it's 2022. Anyway, sorry, I just went in my own little brain then and was like, what the hell is going on? Time is flying by. Podcast time. Ibrahim Abu Ali, aka Habibeats. I got put in touch with him through one of my good friends, and I'd never heard of him until I checked him out on Instagram and TikTok, and his stuff's just amazing. It's just priceless. He makes a lot of his stuff is based around sample based music and kind of educating what record sampled what. We're getting to more detail on the podcast, but he blew the fuck up, and it's amazing to see. So I'll just let you guys listen to the podcast. So without further ado, Habibi. Yo, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, bro? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. Good to meet you. Thank you for coming on as well. I got put onto you by like one of my best friends, Audrey. And then I checked your stuff out and was like, damn, this dude's like doing some cool shit. And it's like so far removed from what I do in my career. And I was just loving it.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's cool. I like watching your like TikToks and Instagram reels and things like that. It's really interesting to see what you're doing. How did it all start for you?
Yeah, good question. So how far do you want me to take it?
I want to go back from the beginning. I want to go back from the beginning.
Like how I began DJing? Or TikTok? Where do you want to go?
Let's talk about TikTok later. We'll get to like the beginning of career DJing.
Okay, sure. Let's do it. So my whole life when I was a kid growing up, my uncle DJ'd. And he DJ'd every, wedding party and every family event that I went to as a kid. And I was always into music, growing up, pretty musical family, right? Like I said, my uncle was a DJ. My grandma's brother was a wedding singer. My mom played piano when she was, young. So I guess a decently musical family. So I was into music and my uncle's a DJ, right? And I was like seeing that at age 10, 11, 12. And I thought it was the coolest thing on planet Earth. You know what I mean? Like just to see that, he'd control an entire room of people, and make everyone have such a good time. And you see, like as a kid, I would see everyone go up to him so happy, just telling me he was doing such a good job DJing or whatever, or they love the song or whatever, And weirdly too, a big part of it was the tech, like the wires, and I remember going to his basement as a kid, and he had his turntables and record players and all these wires everywhere, and it just felt like a spaceship. I was just like, this is so cool, all these different buttons and wires and everything. So long story short, I asked him to teach me how to DJ. I think at some point I was like, why don't I do that? I could do that. So I asked him to teach me, and he did. So he taught me around age maybe 13-ish, 14-ish, something like that. And very, very graciously gifted me my first set of CDJs, which was super, super nice of him. They were CDJ 350s. Have you ever spun on those?
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, they had a USB slot, and obviously CDs, but the display had it was like a digital AM radio display. There was no waveform. Yeah. There's no waveform. There was no when you scratch the needle back and forth, there wasn't even it wasn't accurate. It would just hop one spot and go back.
They were pretty interesting.
Yeah, they were cool.
Yeah.
I was really, I got to learn on a piece of pro equipment, which was, because they are professional equipment.
Yeah.
that was sweet. So he gifted me a pair of those and like whatever mixer that pairs with them, which is like a DJM 400, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
or 350, and a set of headphones, two big like monitors with or with stands.
Yeah.
It just gave me like a setup, and he was like, "Go for it," which was the nicest, coolest thing that just set me like on a path.
I love that.
So then I start DJing, and you know, at first it was like sweet 16s, you know, friends' birthdays, graduation parties, church stuff. You know, I eventually did my school's Sadie Hawkins dance, which I don't know if you guys have that in the UK.
No, I don't think we do.
It's just like, I don't even know if schools do it anymore, but it's like when I was in high school, which I'm not that old, but when I was in high school, Sadie Hawkins is like when it's like the girls ask the guys out to the dance.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
I think that's what it was, but it's a long time ago. But
the most American thing we do in the UK is proms.
Yeah. Okay.
Like cool. end of year prom.
So yeah, basically it was a school dance, right? And I got to DJ, which was sick. I think I was a junior or senior in high school at that point.
What were like the big records then? Like how long ago was that?
So I graduated high school in 2012.
Okay.
And the year was either 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So in the, you know, it was a lot of Bay Area music. It was all the classics, like a lot of hip hop. It was a lot of hip hop. It was a lot of E40, Too Short. Mac Dre, the staples. I can't even remember what else was popular at that time. I guess like T-Pain was huge back then. I mean, I still love T-Pain. Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, Sean Paul, Drake for sure. So like all that good stuff. I guess around 2011, 2012 was right around when jerking started happening, and the jerking's coming back now, which is hilarious.
Wait, what's like, jerking?
Jerking is like it's a whole movement slash like. So do you know the original like big artist that loved jerking was the New Boys, and they had that song "You're a Jerk." I know you're a jerk. I know.
Yeah, I don't know that
record. Jerk. Oh,
so like in the UK growing up, we didn't really like our hip hop was like 50 Cent, Eminem, T-Pain, Sean Paul. Like we didn't really have like our commercial. We didn't have much commercial hip hop. It's nothing like America.
Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, you guys probably had a lot of like you were listening to like Skepta and like a lot of like
but that was never big when we were growing up. It was like that's only got popular in the last like 8 to 5 years.
Okay.
But for like we have so much more electronic music in the charts. Like electronic music is so much more popular and relevant in the UK culture.
That's my understanding, and I've never been to the UK, but that's my understanding. And the thing is, from my perspective, I'm not sure what the actual charts reflect, but from my perspective, I think hip hop is much more dominant in California.
100%. In America, hip hop takes over.
In general, and so so basically, it was like. And then jerking was also a type of dance. So it was almost like a backwards skip kind of thing. You're like you kind of go like backward. It was the whole thing. And anyways, it's what's funny that we're talking about it because it's coming back now because kids like high schoolers now and middle schoolers have discovered jerking was a thing, and now it's like all over TikTok. They're all like learning it like this is funny. Look what they used to do 10 years ago. Like let's all try it.
I love how the internet is doing that because it kind of started like shuffling was a huge thing like back in the day in nightclubs, right? And then it got big in the UK for like a short period of time recently, and then America kind of took it and like went with it, and now it's everywhere. But it's amazing how the internet can bring up old stuff and kind of make it fashionable again.
Most definitely. Because like, what do they say for like fashion? It's like the 30-year turnaround.
Now, like, look at what everyone's wearing now.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
like, I don't even know for music and everything too. It's probably a similar rule. You know what I mean?
Well,
And the internet probably. Oh, go ahead.
no, go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say the internet probably just accelerates this stuff, right? It just makes it come back even quicker.
Totally. I don't know in like the genres of music that you're kind of working in, but in like electronic, everyone always looks back. And now like we're hearing like so much like old rave kind of samples, and there's like a part of our industry that like we've all heard this so many times. Excuse me, but the younger people in the industry have never heard the originals.
Right.
And
They won't.
it's like bringing it back, but it's not bringing it back. It's all fresh to them. So it's really interesting. Is it the same with what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think that ties in quite well to the whole like sampling thing that I've been doing on my profile.
Yeah.
I mean, forgive me. I mean, hip hop. Hip hop is a sample based genre of music since its inception. But I think particularly it seems like now with like TikTok and just like social media in general, younger people seem to be really interested in like stuff from the past. Like it's so funny, like, like randomly a song from 76 or something will just become the #1 song right now, which is just so, because like someone makes a video on TikTok and it goes viral and then a bunch of people use that sound, and now all these kids know this song from Boney M or whatever it is, right? And it's like it's super cool. And so I think they're interested in the origins of things and they're interested in learning more. And there's probably a part of it that's like, oh, this is like retro, this is vintage, and that's
Definitely
fashionable,
that.
right?
Definitely that. I was going through the Shazam charts the other day, and I was like, how are people still Shazamming these records? How do people not know these records? But it must be that. It's like they just haven't, it must be kids just not ever knowing what this record is because they've never heard it before.
Right. And they've probably only heard like an updated version that was either someone sampled the original or whatever, and in their mind that's the original, right? The one they've heard.
Yeah, exactly.
But not the
It's one of my favorite songs is Candy Statin, You Got the Love. And people, every time people ask me like what's my favorite record and I say that, they're like, oh, the one that Florence and the Machine sang that. And I was like, yeah, but Candy Statin sang that way like in the 80s. And people don't even realize, like, because people know the Source featuring Candy Statin, which is like the club record that kind of did really well. And then people know the like Florence and the Machine version. And then some people know the Jamie XX version. But no one knows the original Candy Statin record. And you're just like, when you know it so well, it's like, why do you not know this? But then you also have to understand that there's generations that just don't have a clue. And that's not meaning that our generation is better. It's just there's no need for them to know.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know that record. Candy Statin.
Candy Statin, yeah. You Got the Love. You would know it. If you heard it, you'd know
maybe,
it
100%. I'm sure.
But you'll probably know the Florence and the Machine version.
I don't know it off the name, but if I heard it, I'm sure I knew it.
Yeah, it's but
what's the name of this song?
You Got the Love.
You Got the Love. Man, I love learning about this stuff, man.
It's amazing how generations kind of, how music just changes in generations. And do you ever find this, like, how I actually listened to I'm listening to the Will Smith book at the moment,
cool.
The audiobook, and he was saying in there how when you're a teenager, your brain remembers music so much better than when it does when you're an adult. And I was like listening to some old stuff that I used to listen to when I was a kid, and I could remember every lyric. And I'm like, I can't even remember the lyrics to my own music that I make nowadays. But how can I still remember that song from like 15 years ago. And I'm not old. Like, I'm 31. I'm not old. But it's like, it's amazing what your brain can do and how nostalgia is just a huge part of our lives. And
100%.
And how the fashion comes back round and music comes back round, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, dude, I agree. I literally always think about that, where a song will come on from 2009 and I know every word. And I'm like, and I haven't heard this song in forever. And I'm like, why is this information in my brain, but I can't even remember what I'm supposed to do today?
Yeah.
Like,
and you can't get it out of your brain. It never leaves.
No. And it must be just because it's tied to some nostalgic memory or some developmental important, time in your life.
It's like senses, I guess. It's like smells and things like that. There's certain things where you like, I don't know if you've ever had that, where you walk past somebody in the street and they're wearing like a scent and you're like, oh my God, that reminds me of a certain person or a certain place.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing what our brains can do.
Oh yeah, dude. If I'm not mistaken, I think I heard somewhere that our sense of smell is the most associated with like memories.
Yeah.
So like, if anything is going to get you to remember something, like it would be the smell of the room or the smell of the whatever it was. I for sure, that happens to me all the time. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's mad. We're wild beings. Sorry, we went on a tangent there.
No.
But yeah, going back to how it started for you. So you started practicing, you started DJing here, there, and everywhere. And then where did it get you from now to here, from where you were to now?
Yeah. So I guess quick story short, like, I go to college, I'm still DJing. I turned, 21. I started DJing in bars and clubs. And I do that for a while in San Francisco for a few years. And I moved to LA, maybe in 2018.
Yeah.
And I actually moved to LA for law school, believe it or not.
Interesting.
First year of law school was like, no more DJing. I have to focus on law school. Yeah. So that first year of law school was miserable. For a lot of reasons, but also because I wasn't DJing. Yeah. And second year of law school, I was like, okay, I can't do this. I miss DJing. Like, I need an outlet.
Yeah. So
I started DJing again. And midway through that year, pandemic hit. And I couldn't do clubs and bars anymore or anything. Nobody could do anything. We're inside. So I started DJing on Twitch. Yeah. And that was fun. It was really fun. Actually, I was DJing on Twitch like 5-6 times a week, like for 2 to 4 hours.
Oh wow!
A day.
You were going.
It was just like it was my social life then, you know, because you couldn't, that was like you couldn't do anything at that point. You couldn't leave your home,
Yeah.
And that went on for maybe like 7 months or something on Twitch. And I met a lot of cool DJs from all over, like New York, Texas, UK, Toronto. It was just like, it was so cool that all these DJs started hopping on Twitch and it became a whole community. It was really cool. Were you a part of that? Were you on Twitch at all during pandemic?
No, I was.
I guess we're still in pandemic. But
yeah.
Like during the beginning.
No, I had the complete opposite. I started the podcast, but I refused to do a live set. I refused to do like live streaming on DJing and stuff. For me, it wasn't like
interesting.
Yeah, I was like, it just didn't fit what I wanted to do. And there was so many fucking people doing it, especially in my genre of like house and techno. And I think it's different with the stuff that you kind of play. Or from what I'm presuming that you play, because I've never seen you play. But it's like, I don't want to see a DJ that plays house and techno in their kitchen. Like, it should be in a sweaty club or it should be in a rave. Like, for me, although I know so many people that did it and loved it, and I would never say a bad thing about that because it's whatever somebody wants to do. But for me, it was just like, yeah, this isn't for me. So I started the podcast, which and to be honest, you're totally fair in feeling that way. Yeah. And I had a very similar feeling. Yeah. So like
it just doesn't, certain things don't translate the same.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, when I started DJing on Twitch, the first thing I thought to myself was like, okay, it's gonna be bizarre. It already feels weird for me to try and come on here and recreate what I would do in a club.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm in my bedroom and everyone else is on their laptop.
Yeah.
And there's no way it's gonna like come across that way. It's like what I was thinking. So what I ended up doing was I called it my DJ name is DJ Habibeats.
Yeah.
And a lot of people call me Hobby for short. And so I started what was called Hobby Cafe, and it was a midday, like I would stream at like noon, from noon to like 2.
Yeah.
5 days a week, like coffee shop atmosphere.
Oh, I love that.
In which there was like, you know, my buddy helped make like an overlay that looked like I was in a real cafe. And it looked like I was a barista, but like with turntables. I actually wore an apron every day. I actually still have like 4 or 5 aprons in my closet. But I would wear a different apron every day. And I would actually call out fake coffee orders while I was DJing.
Yeah, I like that. I like there's a theme. There's like, you're not just jumping on in your fucking pants and just like DJing. You're like, it's thoughtful or thought through.
Yeah, and then so like musically, because that was the vibe, I was able to do something totally different. So basically I was playing like a ton of like, literally like as if you were in a cool coffee shop. I was playing like R&B, neo soul, funk, jazz,
nice.
You know, like all this. It was just chill and cool, and I could explore all these different things.
Yeah.
Like there was a like big stint I had where I got really into like 70s and 80s Japanese funk. And like which I think is more commonly known as city pop.
Yeah. Okay.
But like you know, it's all this stuff that like these like sort of like, you know, a lot of producers will take a sample, you know, one of those like 70s, 80s Japanese tracks and like speed it up and like, you know, put a cool like boom bap drum beat over it. But I got into that for a while, and then I was like getting into like Brazilian jazz, and like every day would be like something different.
That's
and
amazing.
You know, we cultivated this little community on there. It was really cool.
Did you get many people listening?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, forgive me, I keep clearing my throat. I don't know what's going on.
You just got off a plane. It's fine. We'll allow it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, we got like, I think it wasn't crazy, but I think I must have gotten around 1,200, 1,300 followers on there.
That's
great. And then like on a daily basis, we'd have an average of like anywhere from 40 to 60 people there. On average. Some days it would be like 150. Some days it would be 20.
Do you think it built a community though, where it helped you get to where you're at now?
Yes. I'm not sure like that the Twitch. So I guess what really kind of catapulted my sort of social media following and everything like to where I'm at now is TikTok, and that's the next step in this story. But Twitch was, I think, instrumental for me because like it made me really, really comfortable on camera. Which is like might be a weird thing to say, but like I didn't realize it. Like at first I felt very awkward doing Twitch. And I felt awkward doing DJ stuff to a camera. You know, there was no one in my room. It was just like me, and talking and being animated and you know, all those things. And so Twitch really helped with that, I think. And then I think just for my general like mental health, it was wonderful, man. Like I got to make friends with so many people. And we did create like a cool community. There was several times during that Twitch run that like me and a bunch of other DJs, it happened often. Me and a bunch of other DJs would like do fundraisers where we would like, you know, like all 24-hour, 48-hour nonstop stream where it would be like I would go an hour, then he would go an hour, then this other person would go an hour, you know, and like we try and raise money for good causes.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was wonderful, man. So then like 7 months of that happens and then I kind of got burnt out, and I was like in the middle of finals, you know, part of my third year of law school.
Oh, so
my
you were
last year
still
of law school.
studying during all of this?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, somehow. And it was like in finals during, it was like the first semester of my last year of law school. And I was kind of burnt out. So I took a leave of absence to just focus on school and take a break. And finals finishes, holidays happen of 2020. And then it's January of this year.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something, but I didn't want to go back on Twitch.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just felt a little burnt out. And
well, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours.
Yeah, and Twitch is the kind of thing where you have to really commit to like a consistent schedule.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to, you know, do well on Twitch, or I think like if you're just kind of randomly hopping on here and there, like you have to like have a consistent thing going.
Yeah, because during the pandemic, I had a few friends, well, quite a lot of friends that had like a deal with Twitch, and Twitch were like pretty much kind of paying creators to do a regular thing, and they were paying good money, but they were also requiring a lot of your time. Like a lot of your time. And I had friends that had record labels that literally were streaming like 7 days a week, and they were like had insane lineups every day because they just had to get the money. And I get it, because it was a time when no one was earning money, but yeah, for the Twitch following to get big, you just have to be consistent all the time.
Exactly. And so like with me still in school and me just kind of being burnt out on that, I just didn't feel right for me to go back. Like every time I wanted to go back, I was like, no.
That's the thing. You have like we do what we do because we enjoy it, right? Like the minute it comes to a point where this is work, it's not worth it at all.
Yeah, just you never want it to be taxing on your mental health.
No.
Like, and it's because we have to be entertaining, right? Totally, it's tough to be a good entertainer when you're not right in the head, when you're not like good with yourself, you know. So basically what happened was January of this year, I'm still bored at home. I still can't DJ in venues. And I'm like, I got to do something. I have to output creatively somehow. So I'm like, okay, I'll hop on TikTok. And I didn't really know much about TikTok. I think I had the app downloaded at that point and had been on it a few times, but wasn't on it regularly. And I, at the time, presumed that it was all 15-year-olds on TikTok. That was very wrong of me. Everyone's on TikTok. But that was my thought at the time. And I remember like making it and not, I never made it with any intention of growing a following, of posting regularly, none of that. I just made it to just like, you know, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
And I remember posting on my Instagram story at the time. I was like just made a TikTok, like LOL, check me out. And I posted a couple videos of me doing like some just like finger drumming stuff, just like messing around, and all was well, it was fine. And then my whole life since I've been into DJing, have always been obsessed with the origins of music, right? And samples. And I've always just found it really fascinating, and I nerd out over it. And I'm always the guy who's in the car with your friends and a song comes on, and I'm always the guy that's like, hold on. This is from that one song from the 80s. What's that song? And everyone's like, yeah, we don't care. But I care. So I was listening one day to Good Night and Go by Ariana Grande, which is a great record, great song. And that is a cover of an Imogen Heap song by the same name. And it kind of just dawned on me. I was like, oh, I bet these 15-year-olds on TikTok probably don't know that they're like, favorite Ariana Grande song is like really just like a cover of like this older song from 2005, from probably before these kids were born. Yeah, literally. Literally.
Yeah.
Which is a trip.
Well, it makes you I don't know about you when you're growing up, and like your parents are like, "Oh, before your time," like everyone older always says that to you, and then you realize that you've turned into that person.
Yeah, it's a very humbling,
Yeah.
very interesting thing. But no, it's cool. And so I was like, they probably don't know that, so I'll show it. I'll showcase that. Like, I find it interesting. I'll just put it out there. Maybe someone will learn something cool. So I made a video. It was like, oh, you got. I was like, you. I don't even know if I talked. Actually, I don't think I know. I don't think I said anything on the mic. I just played the Ariana Grande song, and I said like, put a little caption. I was like, wait for it, and then like played the Imogen Heap song, and that video blew up.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I must have got like, I don't know, maybe like 10,000 followers in a day.
Damn.
Something like that. And I was like, just blown away.
That's amazing.
Like,
yeah.
I was just like, that's crazy. Never expected it. And I go, okay, well, I can do another one of those.
Yeah.
So I do another one of those, and the same thing happens. And I'm like, okay, I'll do another one. Same thing. And I'm like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 3 a day. So I start doing 3 a day, and I'm still in school, mind you, right? The whole time. Like literally, like I'm in Zoom school because everyone's so I'm like finishing up law school class on Zoom and immediately like turning my turntables on and like making a video. And I'm making 3 videos a day for like maybe 2 months, and by 2 months into this year, I think I was at around 500,000 followers on TikTok.
Jesus.
And it literally just like the graph was like this, like it just exponentially got bigger and bigger and faster and faster, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And so then I just kind of kept doing it. I slowed down at a point. I wasn't doing 3 a day after that. I was doing maybe once a day or once every other day or something, and I kept on posting. And then I would post other stuff too that wasn't, I would do like mashups, and I would do other sample stuff too, like, oh, like this one drum loop that you hear all the time or whatever it is. Like,
would they get as much love, the ones that are like not the samples?
Yeah, depending. I mean, it's funny, like it seems like now the sample stuff doesn't get as much love on TikTok. I mean, I don't know if it's just like they've seen so much of it, because I've done 200 of those videos now. And so maybe it just gets stale after a while. Like it seems recently my mashup videos are getting a lot more love. And then I started doing like, artist showcase videos where it's like artists that you need to know about. I would take like lesser known artists that I thought were really cool and trying to put them on a platform.
I love that.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about, man. Like my favorite thing as a DJ, and I'm sure you can relate, is like when you hear a song or an artist that deserves to be known and they aren't, all you want to do is play it. You want to play it for the people. Like you want people to know. So I do all that, and I kind of just do it nonstop, graduate law school. And right around that time, I don't know if it was before or after graduation, but right around that time, TikTok hit me up and, told me that they were starting a radio channel on Sirius XM called TikTok Radio. And, they wanted me to be one of the resident DJs on the channel. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to. So, that started in August. And so, people can find me once a week on TikTok Radio, Sirius XM Channel 4. Every week's different. It's either Friday. It's like one week I'm on Friday at 4 p.m. and the next week it's Saturday, then Friday, then Saturday. Yeah.
But, do you do that live or is that pre-recorded?
It's live. So it's actually really cool. It's because it's live both on Sirius XM on the radio channel and video live streamed on my TikTok channel. Oh,
no way. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a kind of cool idea. Like it was their whole idea to like simulcast it. Yeah. So you can just tune in your car, or you can literally watch me in my room doing it, which is kind of cool.
Do you do it from the studio, or do you do it from your bedroom?
Well, I do it from my bedroom, which doubles as my studio.
No, I meant like the radio studio. Like if you had to go into like a radio studio.
No, right here.
That's amazing.
it's pretty cool. They found this cool way to do it where I forget the name of the box, but it's just like some kind of receiver thing that like hooks up to the internet, and then I come into that from my mixer, and it's like seamless,
like a clean feed. That's great.
And I link into their system, and it just works. But
that's so good.
Yeah, it's really cool. So so that started, and then so basically, I guess just from there, different opportunities came up, and my videos are just like, what's crazy to me is how many viewers my videos like I would get hit up by just like people from, I'm not gonna say any names, but like I would get hit up from like people from labels or people who managers of artists that I've showcased, and be like, we've seen your stuff, we love your stuff, like, which is so cool.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that you have a platform now that's bigger than most artists that are trying to be big, right? And record labels, managers, promoters, they all want you because your platform can make an artist big.
It's a pretty insane thought. Yeah.
Yeah. How does that sit with you?
I love it, honestly, but like it's not so much. I mean, obviously it's cool that it's really cool and really convenient for me that people want to work with me. That's wonderful, especially because, and we haven't got into this really, but so since all of this has happened, I've decided to just full-time DJ.
Yeah.
So I'm not pursuing a legal career.
I'm happy you're not.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Yeah. We can talk more about that in a second, but it's nice, for me, obviously, because this is what I'm trying to make my living now.
Totally.
And that's wonderful. But what the first thought that occurred to me was, the thing that I've always wanted to do is put on artists that deserve it.
Yeah.
That I think are great artists. And when I first got the, this TikTok radio deal, like the first thing I thought to myself was like, I can play whoever's music I want. Like I can play, there's an artist that I think is really sick and isn't really well known. I can play them on a syndicated national radio station like that, which is a crazy amount of power to have.
Yeah. And the fact that it's going live on your TikTok, which has insane views.
Yeah. And so it's like, it just makes me feel like, I like happy that I can help get cool artists out there. You know what I mean? Like I literally recently met, a couple months ago, met a friend of a friend who's a producer, and he sent me one of his songs and I loved it. And then the next day I was doing TikTok radio and I played it.
Yeah.
and that was so cool. I love that I could do that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Because it's so nice, especially being able to. Have you been at the point where you've been like one of the first person on an artist, and then their careers like getting bigger and bigger from you?
I don't know if I could definitively say that like it's because of me.
Of course not. No.
Yeah. But definitely have gotten into caught wind of artists when they really don't have a following, and posted about them or done something, and then I slowly see them doing bigger and better things, and I hope that I helped. That'd be wonderful.
It's powerful, man. It's so powerful, and it's pretty amazing. When was the realization that you were like, okay, fuck it, this is full time, let's do it?
I think it was around the time that I got the TikTok radio offer.
Yeah.
Because that was the first really legit feeling thing that came out of this. Because, obviously anytime anyone gets a following on social media, you're going to get to do little brand deals here and there, or partner up with so-and-so. And that's cool, but that's, I think a little less of a sure thing and less consistent. And so, the fact that I was going to have this recurring, consistent thing, very, very legitimate thing, occurring, I think made me think for the first time, whoa, maybe I could just do this for real. And that was an awesome moment for me, and a terrifying moment because I just finished law school and spent a lot of money and time.
What did
And I
your
had to
family
bring,
say?
yeah. So I had to tell my parents, I was like, basically told them, I was like, look, like, I think I'm gonna just pursue this, the music stuff full time. And to be honest, they were really cool about it.
That's amazing.
And yeah, and I don't want to say I was surprised. That makes me seem like I thought, like I wasn't surprised, but like I guess I was just like really, like, it made me really happy that they've always really supported me
Yeah.
in just like all the DJ stuff, and they've always been super proud of me. And so like and they've always said to me, like, we know that you're good at what you do, so
Yeah.
like now other people know that, and like
Yeah.
we love that, so like they're like, go for it.
I love that as well.
Yeah,
Super
and then they were like,
important.
yeah, I agree. And then they were like, also, they're like, you got the degree, so worst case scenario, you got a
Yeah.
fallback. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you've got more than what most people don't.
I suppose. I mean, it's I feel very lucky, very blessed, and it's just been a crazy year for me. So
Yeah,
I
man.
never, at the beginning of this year, I would have never expected any of this.
Has it all happened in a year?
Yeah.
Damn.
Because the first post I made on TikTok was January of this year. Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
It's
I really like I've done like research on TikTok and how they actually want to make their creators famous. Like they want to, like, Facebook started like they'd make it hard work for people to find you. When Instagram came, you'd get more followers quicker, but it was still based on more business side of things, where they wanted you to pay for things and things like that. And then I saw with TikTok is that they want you to become as big as possible, because that keeps people on the platform for longer. And the bigger you are, like, of course, it's still a business at the end of the day, and they make more money when more people are on the platform. And I like how TikTok do that. And TikTok is a community. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on it. Like I still haven't got past the point of making videos for it. Like I've done a few, but it goes back to what we were saying about Twitch. Is like I haven't found something that I absolutely love to do that works for the platform. But
yeah,
like with my label, like we've worked with TikTok and they're super supportive to creative people. And there's something about that, and they're super, like, with music, they have their own music streaming platform inside it, and you can upload your music on there before anyone else, and they will help you push it. And there's no social media out there that does anything like TikTok does. It's a really special platform.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. It is sick. They're really cool. They're good people, and they care about their creators. And it's a platform unlike any other, like you said.
Yeah, I haven't heard of like the horror stories that you get in Instagram, where like someone's account gets hacked and you can't get hold of anyone at Instagram for like 3-4 months, and like it's I've had a lot of friends that have had that. Like one of my mates the other day, their Instagram got deleted, just randomly got deleted, and there's nothing they can do because the company's so big and there's like no personal like interaction, where it feels like at TikTok, and I hope it stays that way, that obviously it's a multi-billion-dollar company, but they have curators and they have people that really care about them, which is so important.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree. And you said something earlier, like you said that you want to post on TikTok, but you haven't found that thing that you would want to, do, that you love doing on there. And I think that that's actually a pretty key thing that I've found. Like, I think if anyone wants to post on TikTok, I would say, like, don't post with the mindset of like, okay, what can I do that's going to go viral?
Yeah.
Like I think that literally will work against you.
Yeah.
I think the absolute best thing you can do, and what worked for me, was literally just post stuff you genuinely care about and you think is cool, because that genuineness, if that's a word, will come through.
Yeah.
And undoubtedly there are just enough people in this planet on this planet that there'll be someone out there who's also into this thing that you're into.
Yeah.
You know, and the cool thing about TikTok is that it'll make sure that your video finds its way to those people.
Yeah. Which I love.
You know,
which I love that it does that. The algorithm's very interesting on there, which is different compared to other social media platforms. It gives you what you want because it just stays there. It wants you to stay on, and it's fucking addictive. You can spend hours just going through and through, waste a lot of time. Have you ever done sample videos on like house and techno music?
A couple. I think I did like a Joyride song.
Okay.
And he sampled that classic saxophone riff. I can't remember the original song, but it goes. Oh,
right, yeah.
It's a classic saxophone riff, and he kind of made it into this. Right. I think I did that. I think I definitely did some Daft Punk ones.
Yeah.
I did Stardust, which is also half Daft Punk, basically.
It's all Daft Punk, yeah.
Yeah. I did. I'm trying to think what other dance samples.
We gotta get you on some. I'll send you some over.
Yeah, send me some, dude. That's the thing. It's so funny. Like my bread and butter as a DJ, genre wise, is definitely more hip hop, R&B.
Yeah.
Rhythmic, more like, I guess, like less four on the floor.
Yeah.
But I love dance music. I love house music. I love all that stuff. It's just kind of I grew the other way a little bit. But the funny thing is when I started learning how to DJ, it was all house music.
Oh, really?
Because my uncle was a house head.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started learning on house music.
Can you remember any of the records?
Oh man.
Was it all like old house, or was it like current, back then?
I think it was more like
old Chicago.
It was more like, no, it wasn't like old school Chicago stuff. It was more like whatever current at that time, maybe like, 2009, 2010 type of like, I think there was definitely a lot of trance music involved when I first started teaching.
That's amazing.
When I first started DJing, like my hero at the time was Tiesto.
Yeah, I thought. I could imagine that.
I was like, that's the guy.
I was actually talking about him today because it's so wild how he's had this long ass career, and before, when he was into trance, like before what people would know of him now, he was like seriously the head of trance back in the day, and his like record Traffic and his remake of Adagio for strings and things like that.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. I was in love with that song.
Yeah, it's so good. But now he's just gone full on commercial, full on like I need to make the bread and butter, and like he's 55 years old, maybe a bit older, and is still so current. And I respect that so much. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of his music now, but I respect that a lot when someone can like pivot and make a career last that long. And he's been at the top of his career for God knows how much. I was told how much he earned in Vegas on a weekly basis the other day, and I was like, this is insanity.
Oh my God, bro. I can't even imagine that.
Like more than what people would earn in their lifetime. In
Jesus
1 week,
Christ, bro.
And you're just like,
good for him, man.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Like,
yeah,
and the same conversation I was having. It's like how DJs have kind of taken the role of like rock bands. And
okay, elaborate on that.
So, back in the early noughties, like late 90s, DJing wasn't a thing. It was a thing, but it wasn't the thing that all the kids wanted to do and be part of. Everyone wanted to be in a rock band. Everyone wanted to be a guitarist, be a singer, be the front person of a band. You'd go and see rock bands. You'd go to a club, but the club was like 200, 300 cap, and occasionally, like once or twice a year, you'd go to a festival that was like a rave, like proper rave. But majority of the festivals were all rock based or pop based, like pop music. Now it's completely the opposite. Now it's like you get rock festivals, of course, but majority of them are all dance electronic festivals or like hip hop festivals. It's like everyone wants to be a DJ. Everyone wants to be a producer. It's cool to be a DJ now. Never used to be cool to be a DJ. And it's kind of amazing. Like certain DJs are much more popular than rock stars. And you're just like, how? But it's amazing because one person can control a crowd like that. And it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, is that you've got one person at the control of, in some cases, 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
wild.
That's a big responsibility, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty nuts.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, you got guys like Diplo, who are just today's rock stars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that like no one talks about rock, like actual rock artists nowadays. Don't get me wrong, there is, and like there's going to be people listening to this that are like, fuck you, rock is still around. It is, of course it is, but it's not at the forefront of, like, we need a good rock band. Like I wanted a good rock band to come out and kind of be, but it's all just like heritage acts. Like when was the last band that came out that everyone was like all about?
Good question. I honestly don't listen to too much rock music.
Yeah, but even just like in a band sense, if you know what I mean, it's just Kings of Leon, and like there's not thick bands like that nowadays.
Right, like an actual, like we have a drummer, we have a guitarist, we have a singer, and like there are bands, but they have just like a bunch of producers behind the scenes, and it's really just pop music.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fair.
How do you find the samples? Like, is there something that you use, or do you just know it? Is it just knowledge?
Yeah, this is a great question, and I definitely don't want people to think that I'm some sort of savant
guru.
That just has. I'm not. I'm just a normal dude. I don't have all this information stored in my head. I mean, a lot of it I do just from years of, you know, like if it's like Biggie Smalls, I know that he sampled like the Isley Brothers, right? Like that I got in my head just from just being into music. So a lot of it is like that over the years I would look stuff up and just learn about it. And then the more I would listen to like 70s, 80s music, the more I would connect the dots, you know, because I'd be listening to the Isley Brothers and I'd be like, oh, they sampled this one too. Like, oh, I've heard this one too. You know, like you connect those dots. And so a lot of it's like that, but a lot of it I just look up. I mean, you can look up anything on who sampled on Google, just wherever. I mean, the information's out there, especially if they cleared the sample, especially the information's out there. And so for me, it's funny because like the name of the series is songs you probably didn't know were samples. Yeah. And that was true at first. At first it was like you probably didn't know like this came from this other song or whatever. And it's not that it's not true now, but like it's just the name has stuck with it for 200 videos. So I feel weird changing the name. But like it's for me like at this point less about like you probably didn't know where this came from, and more it's like for me it's about showcasing how, like, that's what's really fun for me, because at first I wasn't doing that. I was just playing the clip and playing the clip, and then it dawned on me that I could like play the OG song and then live manipulate it to show you how you get to the new product. Yeah,
because that's where I started watching your stuff at. It was when you would play the original sample and then you'd like pitch it up or speed it or slow it down or process it somehow, and then it would turn into what it is today, which for somebody that like produces, I understand that process, but somebody that doesn't produce doesn't have a clue about that process really, and you're kind of like shedding the light on a production skill that's been used for God knows how many years that nobody has a clue what they do.
Exactly, which is funny because it's the type of thing that I would have never. I remember when my videos first started getting a lot of views, and people would be like, "What?" and commenting like, "This is crazy," like, and I would think to myself like, because I was thinking as a DJ, and I would think to myself like, this seems like pretty common sense that how this all works and where this is going and all that, but like, I didn't realize that to non-DJs, or non-producers and people who just aren't in that space, which is the majority of people on Earth, this is a foreign process. And this is a foreign thing to them. And so they're just like, whoa. And so that made me even more excited to showcase it to people, you know? But yeah, so that's my favorite part, especially when it's like a really like, they took this portion, that portion, reversed it, slowed it down, like and it's like a fun challenge for me to like figure it out and be able to perform it.
Well, you're actually like putting work into the craft as well. You're actually kind of you're almost like reversing the process, which is hard, man. Like there's some samples in records that I'm like, damn, that's a great sample find. And how the hell did they even think of, like, for me, I don't know if you might not even know this band. Do you know the Chemical Brothers?
Of course.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, what's that song I was obsessed with? Oh man, it's the Middle Eastern sounding one. Is that Chemical Brothers? Shit. Okay, continue your story.
Chemical Brothers. I'm trying to find which one you're on about. The Chemical Brothers.
I got it on my other laptop. Hold on.
I'm just looking through these whilst he's getting his laptop.
Hold on, sorry, I had my headphones off. I swear it. Okay, sorry, continue.
But all of their records are sample based, and it's in like the dance music space. They're some of the biggest dance acts in the world. But I go on whosampled.com like all the time for their stuff, and I'm like, how do they come up with this geniusness? Like the Hey Boy Hey Girl was like a rock record, I believe, and they just clearly they're crate diggers. So I worked with one of their mix engineers before, and he was just like, what they do is just go and crate dig and go and buy vinyl in like the most random places, and then just go through thousands and thousands of vinyl and just be like, oh shit, we've got a golden sample here. Which is genius because they're out there. These samples are out there. You just got to go find them. And I do a lot of sample digging off YouTube, but it's hard on YouTube. It's easy, but it's hard to find like golden nuggets because everyone's looking on YouTube now. So you almost have to go out and get the good stuff. I live in Detroit when I'm in America. And I've literally just got my like first DJ set up in my house for like 10 years or something, and I've got vinyl decks there, and when I go back, I'm about to start really like crate digging into some like old Motown shit, and because there's still like all the vinyl shops there and it's cheap. Old Motown records are cheap as fuck.
That is so cool. And they usually have them in a clearance bin or something.
Always.
Right?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. That's sick, bro. The song I was thinking of was Galvanized.
Oh, Galvanized, yeah. It's quality
and it's got the dun, 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 dun. Like it's probably a Middle Eastern sample.
Yeah.
But and you made me think there's this speaking of just like crate digging, there's this really cool project called Habibi Funk.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
No.
I think they're based out of Germany.
Okay.
And these dudes, I could be wrong, but these dudes went basically to like a lot of like North Africa like they went to like Libya, Egypt, Tunisia, like I think they went to like Syria and like, you know, sort of the west of the Arab Peninsula there, and like just hit record stores. And they found like all these insane like 70s, 80s, 60s, like just like unheard records from artists in that region.
Yeah.
And it's super cool. They have a ton of them on Spotify and SoundCloud. If you just look up Habibi Funk,
I'll check that out.
Really cool.
I love that, because it's a lot of people are like, sampling's cheating because somebody else is doing the work, which is 100% right to a certain extent. But it's like there's a skill in sample hunting and then making it your own.
I 100% agree with you. To an extent, it is in a way cheating, I guess, because it is someone else's original work. That's true. You're not playing an instrument, but I only think that really counts as like, you can only say it's like cheating if your definition of like being a good musician is playing an instrument,
totally,
or you know, because I personally think taking an existing piece of music and repurposing it in a really creative, cool way is just as valid and just as sick of a skill as playing an instrument or producing something from scratch. Because I think it's like, if you hear like a Drake song or just any popular song that samples something, and then you hear the original, it might seem like, oh, they didn't do that much, or they just put a beat over it or whatever. But I guarantee you, if you never heard the Drake song or whatever song, the new one, and someone just slipped you that old track and was like, here, make something out of this.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than it sounds. Like, because you have to, there's an art form in like selecting the perfect chop, how you want to do it, how you want to manipulate it. Like I think there's a real art form there.
Yeah. One of the most famous ones for me is the Otis record by Kanye and Jay-Z.
Classic.
And like, what they did was not rocket science, but it was like done so well to the point where it made the record, because obviously everybody knew the original sample. And this is the thing that I liked about what they did, is that it was almost a remix, really, because they pitched it up a couple of semitones or down a couple of semitones, but then it made the record. If they didn't have that sample, the record wouldn't have been as good.
Right.
But by adding that sample, it made the record so good and so memorable. And it's one of my favorite songs from them. It's just like, because I love the original. Because I love the original. And it goes in hard as well.
Oh, well, man. Yeah. I mean, because we love the original, but we also love the way that they use the original.
Exactly.
Right. Because like, it's easy to connect those dots when you have the new song and the old song in front of you. But I think if you were to give me that original Otis Redding track, and I'd never heard the Kanye track, and then you said to me like, here, make a beat out of this, I don't think I would have come up with anything that cool.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely like, it's easy to connect those dots after the fact, but before the fact, it's not.
Yeah. I wonder who actually produced. Did Kanye actually write that? Produce that?
Let's find out. I really wouldn't be surprised. That sounds about right.
He's a genius when it comes to like. Here we go.
Oh, he's on another level. Produced by Kanye West. Yeah. At least on Spotify, that's what it says.
Yeah, it is produced by. Jeez.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah,
I was gonna tell you there's an app that I totally forgot about until just now when we were talking about.
I heard about you talking about this on your Instagram earlier. I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, really?
Mashable?
Oh no.
Oh, right.
No, that's you're thinking of Mashup. It's like this cool like mashup.
Okay, sorry. Carry on. Yeah.
No, you're good. But there's this app called Radio, and it has like 5 O's, 6 O's at the end of it. It's like radio, like that. And what's cool about it is all it is you pick a country and you pick a year, and it'll give you music from that year.
Oh, no way.
It's fucking cool.
I'm downloading it now.
Yeah. So you can go to like India, 1976, and it'll give you some music.
That's fucking genius.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
Have you?
And especially for crate digging.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever thought about, like, I don't know, but do you produce music?
So when I was like in high school, college, it was my dream to be a producer.
Yeah.
And I never, for one reason or another, never really thought that was a realistic thing. And now that I have this sort of platform and my life has taken this road, that I've taken this road, I'm now realizing it is a realistic thing. And I can and should pursue that. Because that was always the dream from day one. And so my intention now is to get heavy back into producing.
Yeah.
And really that's because as much as I love DJing, and there's nothing that makes me happier than DJing, but I'm also thinking like longevity wise, I don't know if I want to be in the club Thursday, Friday, Saturday until I'm 60.
Yeah.
Or maybe I will be, but like I'm thinking like, that I want to build out other portions of my career, right? And so like I really do want to get into producing.
Yeah, you should. And 100%.
That's the goal, man.
You have all the knowledge as well, like musically, by the sounds of it, that you'll be able to. Would it be hip hop?
That's the interesting thing. I don't know 100% what I want. So there's part of me that wants to just make my own artist project and do my own thing.
Yeah.
And there's another part of me that would like to produce for others.
Yeah.
I think if I was producing for others, it would likely be hip hop.
Yeah.
But as far as my own music goes, the thing that's been I don't know for sure if this is gonna happen, but the thing that's been in the back of my mind for a while now is producing my own like dance music, like
cool, man.
Much more like house music, oriented.
Sick.
Yeah, dude. Like I love like Channel Trace.
Yeah, stuff's dope.
Like so cool. And so I love like Yeji. I love Peggy Goo. I love Toro y Moi. And I know that some of those artists like are less trad house music, less traditional, like sort of just like EDM dance music, but like more almost like funk dance music. But nonetheless, like that's where my mind goes sometimes. Like, but I don't know, man. I think I need to just actually start messing around.
Just got to do it, man. It's the first step. It's like anything, isn't it? You just got to fucking get there, and the only way you start, the only way you get anywhere is by starting. But
exactly
at the end of the day, like, you'll do what you love. You'll find whatever works for you, and if you might be able to do both.
That's the dream. The dream is to be able to produce, make my own stuff, play my own stuff, DJ. Because that's what you do, if I'm not mistaken. And probably there's no better feeling than playing your own stuff to a crowd.
If it works in a club, then it's great. if it works, if it falls on deaf ears and is terrible. But it's
that's a tough one.
But we're lucky, man. We have a great life and we have great jobs, and I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure you do as well. Like we're doing what we never thought we would ever be able to do. Or it was
bro. Literally. I literally was gonna be a lawyer. Less than a year ago.
It's amazing, man. Like you're kind of where it's so fresh, like where for you, like where, and the possibilities in your career. How old are you?
27.
Yeah, the possibilities in your life now from where you're at within a year is insane.
It's mind-boggling, man, and I don't take it for granted for a single second.
No, you don't come across it. You do. It's nice. But I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see what like 5 years is gonna bring.
Thanks, man. Me too. I'm just excited for the world to properly like resume operations. Like it's funny, like half the venues around like LA are still closed, and a lot of festivals are still not happening or postponed or whatever. And it's like I'm still waiting for like reality to get back to normal so that me, you, and every other artist and DJ and creative person can actually reach full potential
yeah.
and be out and about doing stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's a strange world. It's a very strange world. I'm playing in LA on the 15th of Jan. So
man, I'm not gonna be in town.
Man,
damn, where are you playing?
We're doing Exchange.
Sick.
Yeah,
that's owned by Insomniac. No?
Yeah.
I worked for Insomniac very briefly.
Oh, really? What did you do?
Well, I interned in the legal department.
No way. That's amazing. Yeah,
is that funny?
That's crazy. Yeah, they're a bunch of homies.
They're the best.
They're great. Were you in the Beverly Hills office?
So it was during pandemic, so it was all from home. It was supposed to be in the Beverly Hills office, and I was so excited. and yeah, it was funny because I was trying to get that internship for the better part of like a year and a half, 2 years, and like it just wasn't, the timing wasn't working out, and they already had an intern, and finally, by the time it worked out, pandemic. and so I did the whole thing from my bedroom.
How do you even intern from your bedroom?
Well, I mean, it was a lot of like contract review, contract drafting, legal. It was all just stuff on my laptop anyways, right? So
but I think the whole point of an intern is to like have personal experience with people, right? Like
yeah. But honestly, they were super good about that. Like Insomniac did absolutely everything they could to make it as close to the real thing as possible. Like
personable.
I was like, I was on the phone and on Zoom with people every day.
Yeah.
And like we'd have meetings on Zoom with multiple people, and there'd be different committees I was a part of, and like I was involved. I felt like I was part of the crew, like really part of the family, which was cool.
I love that. What type of law were you doing, or did you want to go into?
I wanted to get into like music and entertainment related stuff.
Yeah.
I was still trying to figure it out. I mean, that's part of the reason I was like interning at Insomniac, right? Because I wanted to see what it was like. Where like that was a cool, transactional sort of job where it was a lot of contract stuff. And I thought for myself, I wanted to either maybe like work at a label or represent artists. And then actually toward the end of law school, before I made the switch to just DJ stuff full time, I started thinking to myself that I might not even want to actually practice law anyways. And I thought that I wanted to go into like artist management, and or like A&R work. Yeah. Because I figured like at least with artist management, I figured the legal education would actually come in a lot of handy there.
Really helpful.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I was pivoting toward, and then all this happened, and then I was like, well, all right.
It answered for you.
Yeah,
I love that, man. I love that. It's
pretty crazy.
Life's amazing, right? It's mad how a bit of hard work, a bit of luck, and a bit of passion kind of can change your whole life.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. It's really, really, really wonderful. Like when this all happened, like a lot of my friends and family genuinely told me that they weren't surprised. Like a lot of them were like, which was the nicest thing to hear from everyone. It was a really, I don't know, it made me feel really just nice. And it was very sweet of everyone to just be like, they were like, dude, we knew that this was going to happen at some point. We were just waiting, like, which is just like a crazy thing. I was like, wow, you guys are too kind, man.
That's the best. That's the best, man. And now you're touring and doing shows here, there, and everywhere?
Yeah, I don't know about touring so much. I'm starting to do more out of city, out of state, a little bit. Like I'm mostly in LA. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from San Francisco, so like I go to SF pretty often. So like I'll be up there for like Christmas and New Year's and stuff. So I'm DJing a little bit up there. Just was in Hawaii yesterday, but that was for a wedding, DJing for a wedding. I'm working on getting stuff all over. Like I'd really love to come to the East Coast. I have some friends in New York. What's crazy is like every time I do on Instagram, if I do like an ask me anything, a ton of the entries are like, when are you coming here?
Yeah.
When are you coming to Australia? When are you coming to Toronto? When are you coming to UK? Which is so cool that there's people around the world who genuinely would love to see me spin. You know, like, it's such a cool thing.
Well, I think that's the amazing thing about TikTok or any social media is that it's not just based on where you live. It's worldwide, and the internet is like, it's 24 hours a day. And I think, do you know, I'm sure you've seen his videos. I can never pronounce his last name, but Mark Rabule, the like, Rabule. He's like the guy that does like live.
Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
He's the best, man. I want to be his friend. Like, he's just like one of these guys.
Same.
He just,
you got to get him on the podcast.
Mate, I would love to. I'd absolutely love to get him on. But it's like how something started by him in like a bar, and then he started doing it online, and now now he can sell out like big venues. And like you're where your social media following is, you're at the same level, man. And it's like, I think if you keep going and you have the right team around you that can kind of take you to that next, or just get you there, like you'll be there, man. And you should 100% take it up and just fucking go with it. Because
that's the plan, bro. 100%. And I appreciate you saying that. Very kind of you, man.
No, it's true. It's true, man. You'll get there 100%. We've just done an hour and 15 minutes. That went quick as fuck.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah, dude. Whenever we're in the same city, let's go grab some food.
I would love to.
How can people follow you and check your videos out and do all of that?
I'm on Instagram and TikTok, same handle. It's DJ Habibeats, which is Habibeats. And yeah, I'm also on Twitter, but I don't really ever post anything.
Twitter's weird now, isn't it? Twitter's.
I mean, I think Twitter is hilarious. I love Twitter, but I've never been one to post on Twitter.
Yeah.
I literally like, I use it just to like consume. So like, I don't ever plug my Twitter.
Yeah.
And I literally have like 400 or 500 followers. I don't have a lot of followers. Like I don't plug it at all. Like, it's just like, it's literally just for like me to just like see some funny, funny shit on Twitter.
I'm like the opposite with Twitter. I post occasionally, but I don't consume anything on there. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I can't deal with it.
Sometimes it gets to be a little much.
Yeah, you can go down Twitter rabbit holes, and I'm just like, how have I started at a tweet about this and ended up at a tweet about this, all on the same feed? And you're like, oh god, need a life.
It's crazy. It's crazy,
dude. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. Keep in touch, and
of course,
see you soon, man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And when you're in LA, anytime, please hit me up.
Yeah, man. Of course. Big love, dude. Take care.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Take care. Much love.
And that is a wrap. Loved it. I really enjoyed that conversation. It was really nice and like just felt right. I'd never met him before. It just felt really natural. So big ups to Ibrahim for coming on. Go follow him. His shit's amazing. Also, thanks for listening. Let's make it a good year. Please share the podcast. Please subscribe. Please do all of the good stuff to keep this podcast going. Send it around to your mates. It's the only way this podcast keeps going is by people listening. And if you keep listening, I'll keep talking. If you can put up with my voice. Big love. Keep safe. See you soon.